Thank you for hanging out with me today. I'm JB Bryan, President and Chief Investment Officer at JB Bryan Financial Group, an independent registered investment advisory firm. And today we're talking about how you can make sure that you do not sabotage your retirement dreams. We don't want to, so it's don't sabotage your retirement. And I often think about how important it is to not think about what you should not do or don't focus on what you don't want. But in this case, I hope you'll bear with me because when it comes to money, a lot of times it's what you should not do is what's going to help you the most. So we're going to focus just briefly, just for this 30 minutes today. But after that, I want you to focus on what you should be doing, the right things to do. I just saw down in the corner of my eye, look, University of Virginia. So I hope I don't have any of my alumni looking at me with that on the ground. That is no indication of how much I love the University of Virginia. My beautiful diploma. I feel like getting up and going to pick it up off the floor. But I love you, UVA, and you will never see that on the floor again. I don't know what I was thinking. So I am, again, JB Bryan, and this is AfroEconomics with JB Bryan of JB Bryan Financial Group, and we're talking about don't sabotage your retirement. Please check out the app AfroEconomics app. Just search in at the Play Store or on your either of your smartphones. Just search for AfroEconomics, the app, and it is free, and you can click right through and you can be watching me in the convenience of your phone right now as you walk down the street, or you can be listening to me in your headset. So also another reminder, please subscribe to the JB Bryan AfroEconomics YouTube channel that you're watching, and I would appreciate it. And if you like this discussion, please click like. Even if you don't like it, give me a like anyway, because it's the holidays. Like it, like me is always good. And the website is jbbryan.com, and we also have the website afroeconomics.com. And in 2016, we're excited about the first AfroEconomics book coming out. And we're going to I have my production assistant here, and I can hear her audio. Can you hear it? Oh, she shut it down. See, but she's just trying to make sure that I'm coming over for you. So let's look at things that we don't want to do. And I encourage you to make comments, because with Jessica here helping me, I am able to look at your comments and we can talk it through. So what not to do. And even before we do that, think about it. Take a moment right now and think about one thing that you're doing financially that you're really proud of what you're doing. And if you can, please feel free to make a comment, write it in or write it down, and write down what you like that you're doing financially. And I think that we need to really think about that as the year is coming to the close, as we're celebrating the holidays. Let's think about all of the good things that you're doing with your money, what you accomplished this year. Is your credit score a little bit better? Is your credit score not any worse? Is it still the same? That's a good thing, because it could have been worse. Somebody's credit got worse this year. What did you accomplish? Are you saving into your retirement and you weren't doing that last year this time? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you taking a walk every day? Because every day that you take care of yourself, that's like money in the bank. Good health is priceless. So let's talk about what don't sabotage. Number one thing that I have found that people do that sabotages their retirement is that every time they change a job, they get rid of their retirement account. And if we're changing jobs on average 7 times throughout a career, that's what the statistics say, that people are changing jobs about 7 times. Now, of course, back in the old days, people had jobs and they stayed there for 30, 40, 45 years. I have a client that almost 40 years, and she's still a young woman, but right out of high school, she started working for that corporation. That is a statistical anomaly. But if you are like many people, you have changed jobs. What did you do with that retirement account when you changed jobs? Well, if you take the money out, let's just say you're 40 years old and you had a $10,000 in the retirement account, you took it out and you had to pay income taxes and you had to pay a tax penalty because you're only 40 years old, that you really only were able to spend about $6,000, $6,500 of that money you were really able to enjoy. And a lot of times you get the whole 10, don't if they don't make you withhold any taxes, you take it all, then at tax time you don't even have the money to pay the $4,000 or $5,000 that the IRS then needs on that money. And so it's, very important that we think about things when you're going through a job transition and realize that the retirement account that you have been saving while you were working there, is not for you. I feel like it's really dark to see that. I'm trying to make it brighter, but I can't. So just let the brightness of my desire to help you glow through, just flow through the screen. You light me up. But if you can't, oh wow, look, the sun, oh, a cloud, the sun came out. See, I know people in high places. God is good. That's amazing how the screen lit up. So let's make sure that when we're going through a job transition, that we indeed keep our retirement intact. And you can do things like roll it over to an individual retirement account, and instead of just taking the money out and facing the taxation and the tax penalties, because your retirement is not your emergency fund. That's not what it's for. So a big sabotage to your retirement dreams is that during job transitions, taking it out because you feel like, well, I can, and I'm not there anymore, and I'm just going to take it. No, you can transfer it to your new job. You can put it into your individual retirement account. And the most important thing is to have someone in your life, a financial professional, preferably me. I would love to assist you in answering questions during a job transition. So be careful. Another way that you can sabotage your retirement is not looking closely at your statements for the company that you're working with. You want to look very closely at your statement and check out the vesting process. So say you get a new job opportunity and they want you to start in a month, but in 2 months, you'll be fully vested at the job in which you're at, meaning the employer money will be added to your retirement account. Because when you got in the retirement account, say they said, we have a company match and we will match dollar for dollar, for example, for the money that you put in. So when you look at the statement, it will show employer money and it'll show your money. But the employer money is not fully yours according to their guidelines until after 5 years. And then you're considering making a job change at 4 years and 11 months. So that's when you might want to consider, will this position, can they possibly hold that position for me so that I can get that 5,000 or maybe 10,000, or it could be 20, whatever. You check out the vesting and how much money are you leaving on the table. If you have to go now and they're going to give you a big bonus for taking the job, and there's certain things that are going to totally outweigh the vesting at the existing job, then definitely take the new position. But it's worth making sure that you're fully in tune before you leave and go to another position. Check out what really is your money in your retirement account. And so that is all like point number 1. And I have about 5 for you. So then we're also going to talk about another way that you could sabotage your retirement is not knowing exactly where you stand. Do you know how much money you need to retire? If you wanted to retire today, do you know? Could you? Could you not? Why not? When do you want to retire? We need to have the answers to all of these questions. You need to have a full understanding of your specific financial goals, where your money is going to take you, how long, how far it's going to take you based on what returns. But you need to know exactly where you stand at all times. Even if it's like, I'm broke. Well, how broke are you? You need to know exactly like how broke you are. Because if you don't know, then if you don't know where you are, then you're just hiding from the entire situation, and it's not going to change. In many cases, if we're in a point of denial, then things are just going to get worse. If you don't realize that your debts are outweighing your assets, or your liabilities outweighing the assets, and you're having negative net worth, say, if that's the case, then if you don't know that, you're not going to correct it because you're not aware of the problem. So if you know of the problem, then you're going to start on a daily basis making decisions, making changes that are going to solve that problem. So knowing where you stand, we want to know where we stand. We want to know where we stand. Number two, knowing where you stand. So, and then a third way that you can that is, you could sabotage your retirement. It's something that you could avoid. A third thing that you can avoid so that you don't sabotage your retirement is setting up alternatives for yourself. Knowing you have a plan A, like let's just say, like in a best case scenario, like when I do a financial plan for a client, we can do different ages, and one of the first questions that I'll ask them in that process is how open are you to retiring at a different age? Highly unlikely that I'll work any longer, or I'm open to that opportunity, or no, not at all. I've got to retire at blah 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 age. So these are having these different scenarios in mind. Like, say, I would like to retire at 65 if these things happen and these things are in order, but I'm willing to work until at least 70, say, if these things don't happen the way that I need them to happen. If you go into jdbryan.com and you go into resources and go into calculators, and you do a retirement calculator of what income you want based on having this amount of money right now and saving this amount of money every year, and you put in your return that you want to make, and you say that I'm going to make a return of 12% every year for the next 20 years. And how realistic is that? It may be realistic for you. It may not be realistic. But what if you have anticipated making 12% for the next 20 years every year, compounding and adding the same thing, and then you go through a job transition? You're out of work for 2 years. No, so those are things that would change, making that possible for you. So but you did have a plan, and that's what's most important. So you might have, so if you say, well, let's run it with 12% return, let's run it with a 10% return, let's run it with, a 8% return. And then let's run it with, if I only get to work another 10 years and things like that. But you'll be able to at least think about different alternatives. And then think about, we need to be aware of what type of income sources would you have, or do you want to have for retirement? When you retire, are you open, or are you in a field where you could continue to do a certain amount of work that you could still be making money part-time? Are you in a profession that will allow you to, start your own business upon retirement and make money, additional income sources? Are you going to rent out the home that you live in now and move to the Bahamas and a very, very small place and live off the rent from renting out your larger home to an entire family? But you have to think through alternative income sources are always a good thing to think about for when you're thinking about your retirement. So a big part, so point number 3 for me to share with you is I wanted to tell you about making sure that you have a plan A, B, and C. Now, I believe in putting 100% into plan A, and you got to, but at least be aware that there's a B and a C, because I think that people become most uncomfortable when you put a paradigm or a situation in your mind of how life is supposed to be. And when it doesn't work out that way, if you haven't really discussed like all of the possibilities that could happen in life, then, it's impossible to go over all the possibilities. But what if it doesn't? What if it doesn't? Like, now I honestly never thought that I would be a parent. I never thought about like having children. Today I married and I, got pregnant, had a child, and then went through a divorce. I mean, whoa, that is not like that was like totally outside of my initial paradigm. I thought that all I was going to be when I grew up was like this workaholic, this machine. And then, but immediately when my paradigm changed and this gift from God was added into my life, I immediately made adjustments, to that. But we have to be open and flexible to these changes. But it changed, everything. It changed how my career flowed, how I was going to work, my patterns of work. And then, going through a divorce changes a lot for us. So you want to, think about, making sure that you set yourself up for psychological success and being flexible and realizing that every plan that we make is a plan and it deserves our respect, but not our obsession. We cannot get caught up, in a plan that didn't work out when there's so many other very, very positive options. And now I can imagine my life without my daughter. She has brought me professionally and personally to a level I never thought that I would be as far as depths of my soul. So there's always something good to look at when things change. There's, change is also an opportunity for growth. It says you can change without growing, but you can't grow without change. So let's make sure that we change and grow, that we grow. So another sabotage to your retirement can be accumulating too much debt. Accumulating too much debt is huge sabotage for so many goals in life. But if you can, I remember this picture I used to have in those all cornball PowerPoint workshops that we used to do in financial management. It had this guy, like big fat guy, like sitting watching TV, and he said, like, I can retire comfortably until about 2:00 tomorrow. And they just had words, on the bottom, and everybody would laugh at it. But how comfortably you retire and for how long is based on how much debt that you accumulate. And too often you forget that just because they're giving you a loan and the loan has a little payment with it, that is still debt. And something, income has to be generated in order to take care of and pay for every bit of debt that you accumulate. You're either going to have to sell an asset to pay it off, or you're going to have to make that payment and finance it. So if the debt is costing you a higher interest than the returns that you're getting on your investment, then you're definitely, moving in the wrong direction. No matter how much you're saving into your 401k, and you're all excited because you're putting 10% of your income away every month, but you have this outrageous debt that is accumulating on you at 20% interest rates because you keep shopping and buying things every weekend, and you have $20,000 that you owe to a retail store. That you, and in all honesty, you would be better off with the less retirement and zero debt, but at least you'd be in a positive place. You'd be in a positive net worth. And that's why you see your multi-millionaires that have all of this money that we see them as having, but they're accumulating debt faster than their records can sell. So even though they're very popular, they have, $10 million in debt, but the record sales only made $5 million, and they still have to pay everybody out of the, $5 million, and the debt collectors are calling, and, and so it just starts, really, and they have to file bankruptcy. So it's not how much you make or not how much you have, it's how effectively we use what we have and buying things that generate income for us. When you buy, so you're buying investments and buying portfolios versus buying shoes and buying cars and buying purses and buying clothes that are not for work or needed for income creating things. That, it doesn't have to be that extreme. Sometimes we go to extremes on what we need and for comfort, but they're not leading to anything that's creating long-term income. It's just an accumulation of debt. And we want to avoid that so that we can focus on having a comfortable lifestyle while you're living. I mean, we want to make sure that each day is as pleasant and as stress-free as possible. There is a direct connection between cardiovascular disease. This is the researchers, this is what they've said. Cardiovascular disease and low credit scores. They found the connection. Amazing. But it's people are stressing about the debts that they're accumulating. It's pulling down their health. And then because of their health decline, what's that lead to? Then that leads to not having as much income. It's a bad cycle. So, we want to avoid the accumulation of debt. You see too often that people are working, they retire, and then they're stressing on how they're going to, pay their bills, but they don't want to work that job anymore. And they have to spend a lot of their retirement income and their retirement assets on health issues that came up a lot from stress and the response to stress. If your response to stress is, doing things that harm you, they're going to lead to having to spend money on things to cover the health issues. I had a client last week came in to get a withdrawal from his retirement account, and he wanted multiple thousands of dollars. And I said, oh, you're going to take a trip or something, And he said, no, this is to cover a pill that I have to take for an infection. A pill costing over $1,000. That's scary. This is scary, y'all. Not covered by the Medicare. So because he had a good job, made good money, he's not on the Medicaid, he's on Medicare, for retirees, people that work their entire career, and he has pharmaceutical coverage, and it's still not covered. They're saying that on average, who are they? These researchers that research this stuff and send us these statistics. They said that on average, and these are old numbers I read a long time ago, that we're going to have about 2,500 of your retirement savings. 250,000, $250,000 of your retirement savings on average is going to be spent on uncovered healthcare expenses, unless we make sure that we keep our health tight, unless we make some serious changes on uncovered. $250,000. I mean, that's a lot of money. So you just got to be really, really, really poor. Who wants to do that? That's not what AfroEconomics is about. That's not what we do. We're self-reliant, very positive, wealth building people. That's what we want to do, and we're about making the world and the nation and our legacy and leaving behind a lot. So we want to be, healthy, not accumulating debt, not stressing out, and being healthy and having positive responses to stress. Like, how could we have, we're all going to be stressing out, but, a positive response to stress would be to, take a walk and slap somebody. No, don't slap somebody, but take a walk and do something positive for yourself. Have a great conversation. Call me, email JB Bryan. But do something positive for yourself and avoid the accumulation of debt in response to stress. So another sabotage to your retirement is underfunding your retirement account. How you may feel that the little $100 a week will be enough, and it could be enough. But if you have big dreams and you want to, retire at a particular age, $100 a week, in many cases is not going to be enough. So you want to make sure that you take advantage of the information of doing calculators, calling me, getting your own financial plan together, going into jbbryan.com and really finding out what I should be saving for myself. It's never, never too late to save for yourself. It's never too late. And the best way, especially if we're talking about retirement, is to save pre-tax into retirement accounts as much as you can. And even more important, though, I can't resist saying this, that it is more important to not accumulate debt than it is to be in the retirement account. You want to make sure that I take home this point, that just by participating in the retirement plan at work, it does not allow you or in any way to go out there and just accumulate all the debt in the world, because there's so much money that has to go into that retirement account in order to generate the income that's needed to pay for that debt. Interesting. So underfunding your retirement account, making sure that you are putting in the appropriate amount to reach your specific retirement goals. So you can only underfund if you're not doing the amount that's going to help you reach the goals that you have. And the first thing that you would have to do is know when I want to retire and how much money do I need in order to maintain my lifestyle for my specific retirements. And then again, it goes back to point number 2, like making sure you know exactly where you are and setting your goals. And then when you have those goals, making a commitment to keep those goals and not fall victim to underfunding. And finally, investment fees. Ignoring investment fees, I have found it's a big mistake that we're making, because you're taking for granted that just because you have something, that what you have is good enough, when it shows the information on your statement of what fees are involved in your account, but we don't take the time to really see what's happening. And I found more and more employers are bringing in investment advisory firms and to get help with the accounts, and they're adding on fees to your account, but you're not getting the advice that you need. Now, I don't think anything is expensive as long as you're getting what you want out of the situation. So so one time I was doing a workshop. It was a webinar, and I was doing for the Alumni Association at University of Virginia. And this lady's question was, do you think that 2% or 1.5% or whatever the percentage was, do you think that it's too much for the fee that I'm paying, on my account, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, it's only too much if you feel that it's too much. And you feel that it's too much if you're not getting the help, or not getting the performance, or it's not working out for you. Then that makes it too much. It doesn't matter. It could be 5%, but if you're happy with the performance, you're happy with what's going on, you're happy with the account, then 5% is not too much. So it's only too much if it's, like some people will say, well, that particular car, there's no way I'm going to pay that much for that car. I mean, hey, that's for them. Or somebody else is like, that's cheap. It's nothing to them. They will do that. So it really, depends on what you're getting out of the situation in reality. If it's paying, it should be paying for itself. That if you're paying what to some may be seem like a high fee, then out of that high fee, then you should be getting that extreme service, and the service that you're just as happy as you can be, just elated with the account, then you're not going to care about it. But if you're not getting what you want, then it means you're wasting your money, you're throwing away your money, you're throwing away your future, and every penny counts. Every penny counts. And don't say that it doesn't matter, because our Black wealth does matter, and we have to make sure that we make a commitment to keeping it together. And that's AfroEconomics. Great way to start. So a great way to end. a great way to start the rest of your day. So I'm JB Bryan, and I'm the President and Chief Investment Officer at JB Bryan Financial Group, a registered investment advisory firm. And we just talked about things not to do. Don't sabotage your retirement. Please don't do that. Please give me a call at 1-844-JB-BRYAN if you have any retirement questions. And it's not too late in the year. It's a great time of the year. You're going to be getting a lot of statements, and I would love to develop a relationship with you. I am here for you. I'm going to continue for the rest of the year. No vacation over here. Next Wednesday or Wednesday after that. And I'm feeling great, feeling renewed, and I hope you do too. And I look forward to 2016, and I look forward to just continue to empower you and the opportunity of you being here with me. I feel your energy. So enjoy the rest of your day, and click like, subscribe to the channel, check out AfroEconomics.com, and I'll be right back here, God willing, next Wednesday. Take care.